Yeah, they're working to get better. I don't think it was stellar, but I mean, I think there's a few mistakes, like in every phase, like in every group, that they'd like to change. But I don't think it's more than that.
How was practice today?
Pretty damn good. Yeah.
You like the energy your team's got right now?
Yesterday too.
Yeah, it's good. Do you, the way you coach this team and letting the leaders do what they do in the locker room, and you obviously doing what you do as well, is there points where you want to ensure that, you know, the mind space of the team, is that checking in with the veterans? Is that talking to the team? Give us some insight on the coaching aspect.
Like today I would have interrupted Mike's special teams meeting. I would have taken the first 6 seconds and said what I need to say. Yeah, they get it. They know what's going on. They know the value of hard work. They always have. They know the value of perspective. They know the value of the truth, you know, and it's always right there for them.
I was talking to Carrick Wheatfall, and I just asked him, what does he notice about these veterans and how they're handling being 0-2 and whatnot? And he said, honestly, he's been really impressed just how cool, calm, and collected they seem. Just what kind of insight can you share on how this group, how maybe this isn't a place where they've been before, since at least they've been in Winnipeg, but just how are they kind of handling and whatnot?
Jake Thomas has been all over the map.
Well, other than him, but.
Well, lots of guys. We've had some guys that were here the first couple of years.
A handful.
Yep. That's enough. You know, they know what it's like. I just don't think there's much to say about it. This is the reaction you would expect and would want as a coach, right? Just conscientious effort, you know, true understanding of why things happen the way they do, why you win, why you lose, you know. And you know, workmanlike mentality, which is generally what you get all the time out of these guys.
How has Chris Smith looked in his first 2 days back?
Yeah, I still think there's a little bit of a difference between in shape enough to practice and then what goes on in a game. So, but I liked what I've seen so far. Yeah. He certainly seems like he stayed on top of his stuff too, which is important.
Do you have any update on Brady's status for this week?
Yeah, he's working extremely hard and making a lot of progress. So we'll see where that lands him.
What about Deatrick? He was kind of moving around today, testing some stuff.
Yeah, I think it's hard for that guy to sit still. You
know. Marquise Bridges, he came from the Indoor Football League where they have the waggle as well. Was that kind of previous experience of dealing with that? Is that something that was kind of evident with him early on?
That's an interesting question. I do think that, you know, as training camp progressed and he got over that initial hump, he started stacking good days after good days, you know, like it seemed to progress pretty well after that initial, I think, shock of what it all looks like. I mean, in the IFL, I don't know how many players they have on the field, but it's not 12. It's not 6 guys in motion, right? So, but I think that certainly helped him play at a more relaxed pace with motion in front of him.
Other than that, what have you kind of learned about him these past couple months?
Well, I think he can be a very good player in this league. I also think he's a good fit on the team in terms of personality, you know, from what I can tell from, you know, conversations in passing. He seems like a good dude. Seems like he's genuinely excited to be a part of this, right? Which is a nice piece to have too.
Just trying to think about how you're going to answer this one. Where would you say finding a return man was on the list of priorities for you guys this offseason?
Well, I think it was pretty high. You know, we brought a lot of returners in, you know, so.
So are you disappointed with what you got from him? Because it seems like when you went with Myron Mitchell, you cut all the guys that you brought in and gave reps to.
Yeah, not at all.
So you're not, okay. So
you look at specific things that make a difference for us, and, you know, I'll say this, Chad Owens was on the PR for, I think, a full year or more in Montreal before they give him a chance, right? It takes a bit of time, right? Also, the nuance difference, once again, in the CFL compared to the American football is it's extremely different. You have to relearn everything about a punt return, you know?
How would you assess the play of your offensive line through 2 weeks?
Yeah, they're working to get better. I don't think it was stellar, but, I mean, I think there's a few mistakes, like in every phase, like in every group, that they'd like to change. But I don't think it's more than that. I don't think it's, you know, more than just a couple mistakes.
This line is, I mean, I think the bar is extremely high for this line because of the way they played over
No
the last
doubt.
5 years.
Should be.
Absolutely, of course.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering that, you know, saying like the mistakes that have occurred through the first 2 weeks, a little uncharacteristic of this unit, but this unit is different. There's a couple different bodies. I guess my question is, were you predicting some growing pains just given some of the factors leading in to that? I'm not suggesting that they're.
Yeah, I don't think you're waiting for them, like, oh, here they come, you know? I think you, when you have any changes and you have some bodies moving around throughout training camp because of guys not practicing, it's pretty easy to recognize the value of Marty Costello. And, you know, you hope that you don't take it for granted in the other times of the years, you know, when everything's going smoothly, because he's such a fantastic coach. He gets them extremely well prepared, you know, so I think there's, even in a season that looks like it's going swimmingly, there's going to be mistakes. They're just maybe not magnified by these questions.
Totally. Last one on that one. Looking at that Ottawa game, I think a lot of people would be surprised that, you know, facing a first and goal from the 7, you're not leaning on an offensive line or a run game. I know Brady's out. You do have Chris Streveler. Obviously, I know hindsight's 20/20, but when you look at that, are you happy with the way?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, if you look at Buck and his body of work, there's nothing to be unhappy about. I mean, it's even odd hearing the question. Well, I think we both should just settle on the fact that that's odd, you know? Yeah, well, that's exactly, yeah. No, Buck had a great handle on what he was gonna see from there, and then how it was gonna all unfold. And, you know, the reality is we had our shot, and defense made a great play, right?
Even Buck is acknowledging, okay, hindsight is 20/20. I mean, part of you could.
I think
This team's
yeah.
personality. I mean,
I think
3
Buck
runs and you're in.
Yeah, I think Buck is, you know, is such a good coach. Like, besides the X's and O's and the playbook and everything like that, he takes so much time and pride in trying to validate all the decision making. You know, afterwards he will look through the call sheet and see and think of different ways to do it for the next time, or validate that, yeah, this is the right process we followed, right? So once again, the amount of work he's putting in to arrive at the decision of those play calls is you can't question that, right? And you certainly can't question the decision making, and, you know, and once again, the whole lot of these coaches, the whole lot of them are always going to look back and replay it, not in a negative way, not to get stuck on it, but just to learn and move forward. And I would bet you, given the game plan and all the situations, everything that's come up, I imagine we pass the ball 3 times again, and then again, and then again, and then again, right?
It wouldn't be shocking to see you just push it in 3 straight running plays too, try to sneak it in.
Yeah, I'd be.
You guys have that personality.
I'd be happy with any way we got in.
Anyway.
And it doesn't bother me, like, however it looks, you know. And I think we were right there. We were on the doorstep. The ball's there. Defensive player makes a good play.
Yeah. Is there a quality or a mindset you'd like to see more of? I don't know, whether it's overall, whether it's, I don't know, we talked yesterday about not being able to manufacture urgency, but aggression or, I don't know, is there a quality or mindset your team needs more of?
No, I think
No,
they're,
can't think of one.
no, I like our guys.
Yeah, I know.
I like, 2 outcomes doesn't change how I feel about these guys and where I think we're going to.
Sometimes a little spark, and
Oh, yeah.
like even Buck was saying,
We'll switch up the lines. Hey, this guy, put a
Switch
different,
up
yeah,
the lines.
move the 4th liner up to the center. Let's put him between this guy.
exactly.
Yeah, let's do it. That doesn't work that way.
Let's not go down that hockey road. Here.
Sorry, it does not go that way.
But Buck was saying maybe we have to be, or maybe it was Zach. No, it was Buck. We have to be conscious maybe of starting faster. Putting something like that in their heads might not be a bad idea. So I don't know.
I think every week when you review everything, you look at what you've done well, what you haven't done well. You try to, everybody, players, coaches, everybody down in that area decides or tries to become a little bit better from that and learn from it, and then also be better at something else that they're already good at. Like just try growing in all those areas. And there's lots of things from week to week, based on the opponent, based on how we've been playing, what we need to work on. The practice plan changes. What we do in Indy changes based on what we're seeing, right? And it's not like you're always trying to, it's not that you're a step behind and you're always trying to stay a step ahead. What do we need right now, And so the idea of, hey, starting faster, that's something that I think would be talked about many points during the season that might come back up, right? So
So in that 6 seconds in the special teams meeting, what are you saying? What's your message?
that usually, starts with, Listen, they don't need much. They don't need much, right? They stand back and watch them work once in a while, chime in, but they don't need a lot. No.
You just tell them to keep working.
Yeah, smarten your asses up. Let's go. No, I don't know. They don't need much, right? They've got it figured out pretty well. They're pretty self-aware. So.
Can I just get your assessment of the new punter, Devin Adams?
Yeah, there's not much that guy can't do. In fact, I'd have to really think hard of what we wouldn't ask him to do on a football field. Yeah, he's been not only good, but he's been fun to have around. He's fired up on a daily basis.
Just watching that whole thing transpire and how excited the guys were and the hugs he got afterward and the high fives, I feel like, is that one of 5,000 moments that builds teams together? Like, hey, we love this guy a little more and he loves us. And I feel like those are important moments that probably happen 1,000 times a day on a team.
On a good team.